Yo, what's up, everyone? Today I kind of want to talk about what I honestly really hate about making music in my DAW. Now, this is kind of very particular to me. I know some of y'all may have not gotten into this trap, but one of the things that I absolutely hate is the fact that when I first started getting into music, I was going on Reddit, I was web searching, and I was downloading these like Serum libraries, these drum packs, these drum kits, um, and all these like presets and shit. Same thing with like plugins, you know. And guess what? Now that I got better, one of the things I started doing recently is because I've been reading, so I've been taking notes of me doing my stuff, right? And the note I wrote down is, first of all, I hate splices, 808s, and their drum samples. The UI is terrible. It makes looking for stuff so damn annoying. But it's just the looking part. Like, I realized the reason why I like to sit down and like make melodies with a piano is because one, the piano is easy and I can just make a piano and work out the chord progression and the melody and stuff like that, and hear everything, right? And then I don't even have to think about sound selection. I say a piano and that's it. I get going. But bro, when it comes to laying down drums, man, oh my god, bro. Like, I have all these damn snares, right? I have no way of knowing what these snares sound like because I never sat down, bro. Like, some snares are ch, while others are ch, or others are cho. You know what I mean? Or the hi hats, it's like tss, or tss, or t t. You know what I mean? And then I'm going through these fucking lists, and like some of them sound different, while others sound the exact same. You know what I mean? And then I'm just scrolling through these presets, and I'm like getting drained, bro, because I'm not flowing anymore. I'm not creating. I'm trying to locate, so I could create. And then the 808s, oh my god, bro. So, I have looked into like, some drum kits and whatnot, and I tried some like drum kits from like, underground stuff like that. But then the issue was that like some of the 808s were just not hitting hard enough, and the ones in Splice had a nice like presence and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of like over it because the 808s on Splice are these super shiny 808s with no upper harmonics, and so it sounds so boring. You know what I mean? It sounds so boring. It's like boo, 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 boo. When I want it to be like, brrr, you know what I mean? Like they're missing like the grrr. The all the 808s on Splice are missing that distortion. They're too clean. They're too clean, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And but then it's such a pain in the ass to first even build a collection of sounds that I even like in the first place. And then I was going through like, oh, maybe I'll sign the sound, right? But bro, my Serum is a hostile environment, bro. It's a hostile environment. I open that up. Where the hell am I gonna save it, bro? Too many, bro. I got like over 100,000 sounds that I just collected because I got into the collecting shit aspect of making music. And now it's such a pain in the ass. Same thing with like plugins, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest, you don't need that many plugins, all right? All you need is the utility plugins that you like, that make sense, that you could turn off your brain and use, and then your creative plugins, right? Because some people, when it comes to mixing and mastering, yes, there might be a artistic flavoring, you know what I mean? An artistic touch that each plugin may have, each plugin might have its own distortion or whatever, and its own sonic character. But guess what? First of all, who the fuck is gonna hear that? You know what I mean? Like, oh, the UAD LA2A versus using like the distressor, or using Arturias, or using one of the waves compressors like Obox or Avox or something like that, right? Well, to me, I realize that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Same thing with EQs. Like, I mean, there's definitely like tone shaping EQs, and there's like transparent EQs. But then I like to just put one as like a tone shaper versus EQ. Like, even with EQs, bro, like you don't need that many EQs. I mean, I say just go with a Pro Q and forget about that shit, or go with the Sonobo one, which is not bad because it works, it's clean. You know what I mean? Um, with the compressor, same thing. Find a compressor that is a joy to work with for you. Doesn't matter. Like the sonic character of these utility plugins are non-important. Just figure out what UI you like the best. You know what I mean? Now, what actually does matter is maybe collect saturation plugins. You know what I mean? Figure out what saturation plugins you like and style things in the way you like. Like, do you really need 50 million transient shapers? No. Do you really need a bunch of clippers? Not really. It's like a job to be performed. Find your favorite clipper and call it a day. You know what I mean? Like, the sonic qualities of a clipper is minuscule. Even if you, let's say, you take an artistic approach to mixing and mastering, and you think about the sonic characteristics of every single plugin and how it's gonna add up to this unique sonic flavoring at the end of the day. Um, sure, possibly. Who the hell's gonna hear it? Who's gonna care? Some nerd. You know what I mean? Hell, most people don't even have the headphones to hear any of that stuff. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with like synths. Like, you could go around collecting synths and stuff, but who the hell is gonna tell the difference between a synth? You know what I mean? Like, bro, most people listen to a synth and they're like, yeah, that's a synth. That's an electronic synth. You know what I mean? But can someone really tell if a sound was made in Pigments versus Serum versus? I mean, maybe Diva. Diva has a nice flavoring. Moog has a nice flavoring, but still though, like who's gonna really know? You know what I'm saying? That's and it's fun to collect and stuff, but it really starts getting into the way in your way. I think what matters most is getting a feel for your tools. At least that's what I'm understanding now. Because man, it's so inconvenient to work with, so hostile for me. Especially the drums, man. Like the drums and 808s, bro. That's like my least favorite part of making music because, uh, it's too much garbage, bro. It's too much fucking garbage ass sounds that I never bothered to sift through, bro. Never bothered to sift through. Same thing with presets, bro. I collected that shit, and then eventually I was like, man, why I don't have to make these presets work, you know? Like I for a while I was like, oh, if I'm really good at making beats and stuff like that, I can make anything work. Well, okay, but now I'm dealing with shit I don't even like. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather just deal with the smallest amount of sounds that I enjoy hearing. But yeah, that's kind of that's kind of like the trap I ended up with. Same thing with like these different types of compressors and whatnot. Like, no one cares, especially if you're making stuff at home. No one cares as long as you know how to make a musical product. What does that mean? Listen, you don't have to be the most amazing mixer, master, or whatever. When we listen to music on Spotify and stuff that these labels produce, you're listening to literally the best in the world, all right? They got the best studio, the best sound treatment, the best mix. Got like literally, they got so much money, they can pay someone to specialize in just mixing, and they're really good at just mixing. Same thing with mastering, all right? We as you know bedroom home artists, right? You don't have to be top 1% all you got to do is know how to, one, use EQ. Listen, you don't have to even watch a video on EQ. Maybe like expose yourself to EQ, the concept of an EQ. You don't have to watch a 40-hour long video from like what's that guy's name, like Sage Audio or something, or Master and Mix. You don't got to do all that. Watch one video to even understand what it is, and then realize, oh, I mean, don't even. I would say don't even bother with the knobs, bro. Because that like if you're asking what an EQ is, don't bother with the one of those knob EQs, because that's just gonna look like a, make it more like a spaceship. You know what I mean? Get a visual EQ. Up means you're boosting. Down means you're cutting. Remove whatever sounds you don't like. Boost whatever sounds you like. You know what I mean? Compressor is just squashes your sound so it's levels. So it's like, imagine your vocals are like fonts, right? Sometimes when you're talking, some words are like lowercase, right? Or let's say all your words are lowercase except one word. Like you say what, and then that what was like capital case, or every single letter WHAT was capital case. That's what compressor addresses. It makes everything the same volume, because as we talk, sometimes we're going up in volume and down in volume. Why? Because no one's paying attention to their volume at all, like in terms of consistency. You know what I mean? There is variations, and that just makes it a lot more pleasant to hear, because now you're not going to have so many peaks and valleys in terms of vocals. That's a compressor, bro. Now there's all the types of compressors, right? Because sometimes you want to, like I don't know. I already forgot what the 1176 is for. I think it's just to control the transients better, something like that, bro. You would look into it, right? But all you need is like maybe like two compressors, one for leveling and one for I don't know, like shaping. I don't know, like shaping your sound for consistency. I don't know, to fit the song better. I don't know whatever the 1176 does, right? But Clipper, your 808s, your kick, your drums are peaking. Just a Clipper is gonna keep your sounds loud, but you're not gonna be like peaking. You know what I mean? It's gonna chop up the top, and plus it adds distortion. Same thing. Oh, reverb. That's where space is held. You know what I mean? Like delay. Same thing for space. A couple of these things. Oh, distortion. That's just gonna add more flavor and coloring to your these things. Who the hell was gonna sit down and be like, yeah, this reverb, blah 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 blah. Like, I kind of prefer. You know what I mean? Like, figure out what reverb workflow you love the best. I will say though, the only reverb that I have tried that made me go like, I kind of like this, was probably like the Seventh Heaven reverb or whatnot. That one was pretty cool. That made me like notice a difference. But for the most part though, like, no one cares. Just figure out what gets you flowing the fastest and that you enjoy, to use as a tool, not as a creative output, because you can, but sometimes you just want to make a product. Because the thing is with music, you just need a certain level of polish. You know what I mean? Certain level of polish that's understandable. Are your vocals clear? Is everything clear? And balance. Does it hurt? Because to me, mixing is more like, mixing is definitely making everything a little bit more tasteful. But in terms of the engineering side of making songs, right, besides like making the melody and recording the vocals, the whole point of a mixing and mastering is it hostile to listen to? That's simple, What's hostile, bro? If I'm struggling to hear you, if the guitar is obviously way too loud, or if it feels like just muddy, or if you ever tried listening to like a song or a beat in the car and then you're like, oh shit, there's too much low end, like you feel it overwhelming. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of mixing and mastering, is to fix things like that. And That's all I gotta say. Um, I was just like irritated because I was like, man, I want to make songs, but like sifting through presets and all that shit is mad annoying. But it is what it is. Hopefully, you learn from me and don't do that.